Genesis chapter 6, 1-4, the Nephilim. Genesis chapter 6, 1-4. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. Controversy. The passage in Genesis 6, 1-4 has sparked centuries of debate, particularly about the identity of the sons of God, the daughters of men, and the mysterious Nephilim. Who were the sons of God? Were they fallen angels, human rulers, or descendants of Seth? What role did the Nephilim, described as giants or mighty men, play in this narrative, and why were they considered significant? How should we interpret this account in light of later biblical texts and ancient cultural beliefs? These questions have led to theological, historical, and even supernatural interpretations of the text, making it one of the most enigmatic passages in Genesis. Historical and cultural context. The Genesis 6 account reflects a time of rapid human multiplication and moral decline. In the ancient Near East, cultures often told stories of divine beings interacting with humans, such as the Greek myths of gods mating with mortals. The term Nephilim, meaning fallen ones or giants, appears again in Numbers 13:33, suggesting they were considered legendary figures of great power and size. In this context, Genesis may be addressing both the spiritual corruption of humanity and the blending of divine and human realms, which was condemned by God. The passage serves as a prelude to the flood narrative, where God's judgment on widespread sin is carried out. Interpretations. The identity of the sons of God and the Nephilim has been the subject of various interpretations. 1. Fallen angels view. One interpretation suggests the sons of God were fallen angels who took human wives, producing hybrid offspring known as the Nephilim. This view is supported by texts like Job 1:6 and Jude 1:6, which reference angels leaving their proper domain. 2. Human rulers view. Others argue that the sons of God were powerful human rulers, possibly tyrannical kings, who married indiscriminately and oppressed society. 3. Sethite view. A third perspective sees the sons of God as descendants of Seth, the godly lineage, who intermarried with the daughters of men, representing the ungodly line of Cain. This union led to moral decay and divine judgment. Each interpretation reflects different theological and cultural assumptions about the nature of the text. Explanation. The story of the Nephilim and the sons of God conveys key theological themes. First, it highlights humanity's corruption. Whether through supernatural beings or human rulers, the passage portrays a world where divine boundaries were crossed, leading to widespread sin. Second, the reference to giants or men of renown suggests that the Nephilim were figures of extraordinary strength or influence, revered by ancient cultures but condemned by God. Finally, the passage serves as a backdrop to the flood, illustrating why God's judgment was necessary. It reinforces the idea that sin, once unchecked, leads to chaos and destruction. Modern application. Voiceover. While the details of Genesis 6, 1-4 may remain mysterious, its lessons are timeless. 1. Respecting boundaries. The account warns against crossing moral and spiritual boundaries established by God, reminding us of the consequences of disobedience. 2. the reality of spiritual warfare. If the sons of God were fallen angels, the passage highlights the ongoing struggle between good and evil in the spiritual realm, encouraging believers to remain vigilant and prayerful. 3. God's sovereignty and justice. The passage underscores God's authority over all creation. Despite humanity's corruption, God remains in control, bringing judgment and redemption according to his plan. 4. The Nephilim may symbolize humanity's fascination with power and greatness, but the ultimate message is clear. True greatness comes from walking in obedience to God. Closing statement. Genesis 6:1-4 reminds us of the seriousness of sin and the importance of living within God's design. Though the identity of the sons of God and the Nephilim may remain debated, the call to trust in God's justice and sovereignty is as relevant now as ever.